Welcome, everyone. How you doing? Okay. Today's live stream is asking, do you believe in the Mandela Effect? Now, personally, I don't believe in it. As a person who has had uh, their memories tampered with, and I do mean tampered with. My mother was a Scientologist, and she really learned some bad things from them. But um, they had a bad effect on me. Let's put it that way. Uh, Reliving a trauma over and over again can have two uh, effects. It can, one, numb the person to the effect. Yes, it can. But two, it can also, if not done correctly, make the uh, person who is going through these traumatic memories doubt their own memories. So I have had tampering with my memory as far as Scientology goes. But as far as the Mandela effect goes, um, I'm I'm not on the wall at all. I have no doubts this is a manipulation tactic. Um, there are many things in our history that our government would rather rewrite, but they can't do that if people keep account of their memories accurately. And so what you do is you come out with a small change, not quite noticeable, but just someone who's seen it their whole life, they're going to notice it. And then you're going to say, no, 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 this is how it always was. No, this is not how it always was. With today's technology, I can go take an ad from, say, 1940, 1950, and alter it just enough that nobody would really take notice except someone who saw it often in 1950, 1960, and so forth. So, and they would be told, "Oh, no, 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 you're not remembering it correctly." But I can go create a change to our history line just by putting something in Wikipedia. So, no, I don't buy the Mandela effect. I do think it is a manipulation tactic. Now, there are many reasons that governments would want to do this, but the most prominent one that stands out to me is if they can make us believe that we are misconceiving small things, then as time goes on and you doubt more and more of those small things, your mind naturally tends to go into other memories and look for inconsistencies. And this is not useful. This is harmful because if you're trying to replace a memory that you think is incorrect because someone told you so, you're being manipulated in every way possible. It's a sad thing, I'm sorry to say, uh, but it is commonplace and it has been a practice of our leaders, rulers, governments, whatever you want to call them, for thousands of years. How do you think the Egyptians made themselves look so good? How do you think that the Mayan or uh, the Indonesian gods, all of those histories were written and designed specifically to make this being look more achieved than they actually were? History has shown, like with the Egyptians, that any king who conquers a land no matter if they have been conquered 10 times before, will claim they always won in every battle. If they won every battle and were accomplished in that kind of success, why were they having to go back and fight them again and again and again? Appeasement is not an accomplishment. Appeasement is someone saying, all right, whatever, I'll accept it. You say, okay, fine. And I was never one of those kind of followers. And I don't remember being reincarnated from other lives, although I do suspect uh, that I have learned my own history has shown up, past life history has shown up prevalent in this life. So there are clues to who you were, and you often reincarnate close to those lines so that you can complete whatever your task is that you set for yourself. You know, we think that when we are dead and out of our flesh, that we get to rest. No, you don't. You don't. In fact, I would suspect that on the other side, you actually are busier because now you have how many years you've lived in this life, plus how many memories from past lives you took with you as lessons to compare to. So it's all just learning lessons. But when you doubt the accuracy of your lessons, you give up power over the future. You cannot give up your power over the future. Please don't. Please don't accept that this Mandela effect is anything but manipulation. There are so many things that I remember one way and now they are different. But when I go review my old photos, they're as I remember them. And that tells me Mandela effect is manufactured. It's not a real thing. It's something they're hoping to convince you to believe. Now, I take interest in conspiracy theories. I'm not going to say that I don't. I'm not a conspiracy theorist person. I don't live my life trying to prove a conspiracy to be true or false. What I am doing is taking what I see, what I learn, and then coming to you with it and talking about it because it worries me. It really worries me that we have changed our educational process for our children till it's useless. We've manipulated math, science so much that our children are trying to consume knowledge from college when they're still in grade school. And this is designed absolutely for failure. I can't wait. If I were to create an AI and tell it, here, I want you to make my life better, meaning I want you to help me figure out a way to earn money. I want you to help me figure out how to change my community where I reside, because my community where I reside is my local environment, and how they're affected by my behavior and how I'm affected by theirs cannot just go on the whim of your mood that day. Yet that is how many of us live. I'm in a bad mood, so I'm going to argue with my neighbor. Well, how willing do you think your neighbor is going to be to help you in your times of need when you use them as a punching bag? And I don't care whether we call them Karens or Kevins. This is not acceptable behavior. And there are far too many people using it as a means to justify bad behavior. Well, I'm entitled to this. No, you're not. Because as entitled as you feel to do that, I feel as entitled that I shouldn't have to deal with it. It's not right. If I don't like you personally, I I don't have to be rude to you. I don't have to be mean to you. If I don't like you personally, all I have to do is go about my daily life, show you common human courtesy. And human courtesy is something that has been squashed in America. I mean, you see it in the fake ads all over the place. Oh, here's this guy going into a restaurant. He orders food. He's got a friend with him. And then he gives the waitress $3,000. I have seen these. They're scams. There's nobody out there giving away that much money. Nobody. Nobody. Not even for promotion. Because I promise you, the goods he's selling, and uh, hats, t-shirts, plushies, coffee cups, it's not going to make you have that kind of money that you can go into places and just do that to people. Now, if I go in there with a large group, and this guy went by the greatness or something like that, and at first I found him very interesting. I really enjoyed watching the video clips of him helping people with broke down cars and food, homeless people. But giving them money isn't going to help them. It's going to put a Band-Aid on the problem. So if you want to be the greatness, don't go give a homeless person $1,000 that they're going to burn on drugs, their friends, and popularity for a pointless time, maybe even an overdose, because they finally had more than enough to do it as much as they wanted. And when we have that, we tend to use it all up as fast as possible. Even though in the back of our minds, we're screaming, we can't replace this. We cannot get it some more. Once it's gone, it's gone. We push that away for the momentary joy or whatever. So if you're going up and you're giving a homeless man $20, okay, that's a bump, as they call it on the streets. That's a bump. That's a toot. They have many names, and I'm sure new ones that I haven't heard of. But their memories are being erased, distorted by their drug use and the constant being consumed. That's their demons to deal with. Mine in this life, I'm lucky we're not. It's not, my demons were not as powerful as those. Though they're powerful, don't get me wrong. My demons definitely have their shortcomings. But, I forgot my... Oh my goodness, it's been a long morning, I guess. And it really hasn't. I ate and my sugar goes up, and when that happens, I get a little hoo-hoo. Let's see what we got going on here. Okay, there we go. Now I'm back. But all of those things contribute to our memory. And I dabbled with drugs when I was a kid I'm not going to say I didn't try things. Uh, it was the 70s. And so, yeah, I tried a lot of things. But anyway, this Mandela effect is hardcore and dangerous. When I was going through uh, my mother using Scientology, trying to help me uh, come together with my memories so that they did not tear me apart as because I came out as a ferocious, I mean, monstrous kind of person when those memories would come up. And sometimes I wouldn't even know that I had thought about it, but the rage would bring it up. And it could be all kinds of triggers. But what my mother's mistake was, and it's something you're not supposed to do in Scientology, she told me that years later, but she tried to make my memories more accurate to hers. So I really began to doubt a lot of my own memories in my life. And that's what the Mandela effect is designed to do. Is start you out with questioning small things. But when you go back and you look at something that say it's from the old days and it was the way you recall it, and you look at it and you go, what the hell? How is it? Because they changed it. They're trying to convince you that it's always been this way, and it has not. And you have an accurate memory, and they're trying to make you doubt it. You start with something small, and you get enough small doubts in the head of any person, they'll begin to question the bigger questions. Do I remember this right? Uh, I got hit by a car, and yeah, I mean, it slammed into my hip. I was walking across the street. I had the crosswalk, and this car kept revving his engine. Well, his foot slipped off the brake, and he tagged my hip. Now, nobody else other than me and the driver knew exactly what happened. Yet, my mother told me, no, that's not how it happened, Ange. And I said, yes, Mom, that is what happened. Because after the guy watched me continue walking away, he thought I wasn't hurt and he drove off. He didn't just hit me and drive off. He hit me, he stopped, he looked back, he leaned out. He didn't ask anything, but I just kept walking. And because of that, he thought I was fine. When I got home, my mother discovered this huge bruise because I was limping, and she was furious. Well, we get to the emergency room, and I told him what happened, and she said, that is not what happened, Angelique. That car hit you and just drove off. I said, no, Mom, it didn't. He hit me, then stopped to make sure I was okay. And she had not even experienced it. She didn't see it happen. She was in our house, half a block away from where the incident happened. But one small detail could have put that man in prison when he did stop. But because I appeared okay and I didn't ask for help, I didn't even limp walking away, I didn't realize he had hit me that hard. But my mother was adamant. No, he hit you and drove off. No, Mom, he didn't. And we went back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. But had my mother been able to convince the doctor her version of events was correct, that man would have been arrested for hitting me. I didn't know I was hurt. I thought he just bumped me. I didn't realize he had actually tagged me pretty good until after I got home and I sat down and went to get up and it hurt. I had just some bruising, no broken bones. But when my mother took me to check it out, she was determined that guy was going to jail because it was a hit and run without a doubt. And I kept telling the doctor the other way. So they asked me, can you remember the car? I remembered the car, but I didn't want that person to get in trouble because they did nothing wrong. It was an actual accident. I mean, he was just revving it a little bit, not zoom, 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 like he's going to race. It was almost like he was having trouble keeping the car running. So he was vroom, 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 and his brake foot came off the pedal, and I got bumped. I was almost clear of him when it happened, and he did stop. But I just kind of, I'm okay. And I went on my way. But that man could have served anywhere from back then 2 to 6 years because I was a kid. It was a main street. I was in a crosswalk, and he had a red light. But that doesn't mean that he should go to prison for that when my mother remembered the incident different than me. And how my mother remembered it at all is beyond me. She was half a block away inside our house. I was going to the store to buy her cigarettes. So and that's how I got the doctors to believe me, was I kept telling them, no, she wasn't even there. She couldn't have seen it. She couldn't have seen what happened. But, a parent over a child, they're more bound to listen and to the parent than the child. Nowadays, a kid says, I'm a cat, and they listen. So I this is how they're tampering with things that are better left alone. The Mandela Effect is dangerous. So when you see it, know you're being manipulated, and don't deny it. Don't accept this, because in recorded history, we have seen them change dates of events, big events, to fit the timeline as they wanted to be revealed. And that's what this Mandela Effect is designed to do. So I hope you really think about it, and um, tell me what you think in the comments. I have a poll up. Oh, wow. I've been on here a while. I didn't even realize that. I'm sorry, but this one is one that really does affect me because of the fact that I have had my memory tampered with. Now, a lot of people say when you have missing time, oh, it's aliens, it's aliens. Not necessarily. It's someone has also tampered with your memory. And it could have been aliens. I'm not going to say it isn't. I do believe there are abundant species beyond us. So to have that kind of opinion, you kind of have to allow for, okay, aliens have gave me missing time. Yeah, maybe they have, because it does happen. And people who get abducted by other people, when a drug is involved, especially, have a lot of missing time or distorted time. And well, don't take your memories for granted, even the ones you question. Your memory is the most important thing you have to guide you in your future endeavors, because you're going to rely on what you've learned from those memories. Now, each person does have a different account of things because they have their perspective. Even if they're standing next to you, their perspective is slightly different than yours. And so just because their perspective is different and they either got a different detail or an extra detail you didn't get, believe them. Put the details together and see if it comes into a clearer picture for you. Don't just discount it. Okay, I am almost 25 minutes in, and Guys, I hate to do this, but I got to put my plug in because I desperately need at least 200 more subscribers to my channel. Angel Reader 9064. Uh, I enjoy doing the live, and I do enjoy seeing people watch here and there. So I know it's getting some views, but I really, really do need subscribers. And you know how the YouTube algorithm is. And I'm a retired woman. This is uh, going to be, if I can get it there, my means of self support. You know, I had this fear. I don't know about you, but I came from a very broken up, severely impoverished home. And though it changed as I was growing up, it wasn't a better environment. It was just as volatile, even though there was a roof. It was not a roof I could stay under safely. So I always had this fear that I would end up homeless and begging for food like I did when I was a little girl. So if that helps you understand my mentality a little bit, wonderful. Maybe you can even relate to that kind of thing. So, but my memories are invaluable to me, not just my good ones, my bad ones too. And to have anything tampered with them can trigger an instability in my thought processes. And I don't want to see that happen to anybody else. So if you really want to know if you believe in the Mandela Effect or not, then go find something old that they are saying is different and go check. And if your version shows the correct version, the version you recall, then you know it's as fake as the day is long. So I am going to sorry about that. Okay, I'm going to close because if I make these live streams real big, it kind of it's hard for my equipment because I'm not a big channel to process it before I can do anything else. So, like, comment, share, and please, please subscribe. You don't know how appreciated you are. Thank you. Thank you for helping an old lady support herself so that fear of her childhood never has to come true. Thank you.